Alright, so there's this new movie on Netflix that's pretty creepy. They got a pretty jacked up design for the monster. And I think that there's a lot of scenes within the movie that are done pretty well. But at the end, in my opinion, it's still a stream it for several reasons. Let me explain. We're following a couple of broskies who are getting drinks, so you can kind of picture it like the world's end, except instead of aliens, you just subtract that for demons. They're talking about going hiking and stuff when two of them decide to enter a liquor store. It's actually getting robbed, so one of the friends gets straight up smashed on the head, while my man over here goes into spectator mode and lets his friend get killed. Not cool, man. They still go on that Swedish hiking trip in honor of their dude, and they pour a drink for their homie, and well, at least you know they won't be buzzed when they start seeing things. They're walking in the woods when one of them twists their ankle, giving them a reason to take a shortcut, and they find freaking Bullwinkle straight up gutted in the middle of the forest, hanging there like a Blair Witch doll. They run into some hieroglyphs on trees, a cabin in the woods, and if I'm already ready to turn off Netflix at this point, I don't get how these dudes aren't ready to dip on this trip. They break into the cabin and find a strawman witchcraft thing. Dude gets awoken by an ominous light and ends up with markings on his chest. And after waking up screaming, they find one of their friends worshipping that idol thing naked. Like, at what point do you realize you're in a horror movie? They book it out of there, but at this point, we're like halfway through the script, so you know that these dudes are screwed. They start arguing with each other, and there's that one friend who twisted his ankle who keeps complaining, and he's kind of a douche, but at the same time, he makes a pretty good point when he calls out the main dude for not saving the friend in the beginning. To which the main dude reacts by just hurting another friend. That's where the movie starts leaning to the metaphor aspects of grief and trauma and how that's kind of compared to, you know, being lost in the woods. That question of, if you're in a scenario where things are getting dangerous, would you selfishly save yourself or risk helping another person? Which ironically gets brought up again. All of that seems to hint to like a psychological type horror until they find their friend physically gutted and used as an ornament. Since they don't have anything to pour for him, they book it again. This demon takes out another one of the dudes, and the last two guys make it into another cabin in the woods. And it's like, they're just not learning. Turns out that there's a whole village of others in this place. They tie both of them up, and then an old lady flashes the main dude, but really she's just showing off the same swastika markings that the guy has. Supposedly that means that they were chosen by this demon monster thing, and it's their honor to worship him. One of the other ladies brings up that if they have that, and as long as they kneel down and worship it, it's not going to attack them. Which is a straight lie, because that other dude kneeled, and that dude's dead. They take the friend to go get sacrificed, and believe it or not, this whole thing is a Cloverfield movie. Just kidding. This Gengar in a T-Rex body demon thing kills the guy. The main dude ultra thumbs up himself so he can escape. He walks into this like afterlife church, makes the service lit, then runs into that crazy old lady again. There we go. He shoots his way out and sees the monster looking like a deer, so he decides to go hunting, but he ain't got a license, so then he has to book it himself. This demon Loki creature captures him, and right when he's about to eat him, he decides to do yoga for some reason. We get another smash, and the main dude runs out of the forest, leaving the creature behind where it can't escape as it's bound by this forest type thing, and they decide to just yell goodbye to each other. The main guy then walks away triumphantly, and we learn that the best way to get over one friend's death is to make sure that the rest of your friends die as well. Thank you guys for checking out this video. I thought some of the scenes that were in the forest when it's like turning into a convenience store were pretty legit, but it's just one of those horror movies where I think it's too smart to be as dumb as it is, to contradict itself, right? Like, the narrative, you know, the monster, there's a monster that they worship within the woods and it can't leave it. It's kind of ridiculous considering all the powers that it has. It is based off some, you know, folklore that goes with demons, but literally, even when you get to the metaphor side of it, it's kind of like, come on now, the guy ain't learned his lesson. He just killed the rest of his friends. Other than that, I'm curious to know your thoughts about this movie down below in the comments section. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll be sure to pour a drink out for you as well.